Style for Life. I'm Stephanie Rumble, fashion stylist, accountability coach, and your guide to feeling good in your body and your clothes. Based in Christchurch, New Zealand, I bring over 3 decades of experience in fashion, fitness, and wellness to help you feel strong, stylish, and self-assured. Together we'll explore the emotional, physical, and practical sides of style, because true confidence starts from within. No matter your age or size, you deserve to feel confident and show up as the best version of you. I truly believe this. This is Style for Life. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. We're getting so close to Christmas now. It's like, I don't know, a few weeks away and Christmas is going to be upon us and we are all going to be in Christmas mode. So before I start talking about this podcast, which is about Christmas burnout, I just want to acknowledge some comments that have come through regarding last week's podcast, which was about style personality. So first of all, I want to thank those of you who have commented, thank those of you who have reached out and messaged me directly. There's been a few of you, and I really appreciate a bit of feedback and also all good with a bit of controversy as well. And interestingly, I was so surprised, but last week's podcast sparked more controversy than any of the other podcasts I've actually recorded, which just blew my mind. One of the comments that was made was around style personality being putting people in boxes, and also suggesting that people might need to be aspiring to a particular style that's related to someone who's wealthy or whatever the case may be. And first thing I want to say is the only reason I talked about style personality is I just wanted to give you a little bit more help to understand what you might be drawn to. So when you're shopping or looking for clothes or choosing something, you have an understanding of what you like and how you can dress to that. I also really want to say too that I also agree with the comments that were made about, things being too gendered or you being judged for being dressed a particular way because of your style personality. So much in laws, I don't like that, and I think everyone should be fully self-expressed and wear what they like when they like. There are some dress codes within organisations and within particular sectors where particular types of dressing are more acceptable than others. So I just want to make sure tell you that I totally accept who everyone is and who they aren't, that they are and who they're not. And I also want to say that I really want you to just use this as a tool if you want to help you choose clothes or to help you understand who you are. And if you don't want to use it, that is 100% fine too. But yes, it's so interesting to have discussion and a little bit of feedback. So again, really appreciate and am happy with that. So thank you. So this week, I'm talking about Christmas burnout. Now, I suppose I often talk about subjects that feel close to my heart. And this year, there's been a lot going on. I'm always a busy person, but it's felt like a lot and a lot of emotional load, a lot of physical load, a lot of stuff going on. So I've kind of felt a little bit like there's times where I've been close to burnout myself. So I just wanted to talk a bit about what it is and then how to identify Christmas burnout and then what we can do to look after and nurture ourselves over this very busy time. So it's a state of physical, emotional, mental exhaustion caused by the stress of the holiday season, which can be triggered by financial pressures, family expectations, and packed schedules. Signs of it can be irritability, fatigue, sleep problems, loss of joy, and feeling overwhelmed. It often occurs in the lead up to Christmas, but also manifests after the holidays are over, and that can be referred to as a post-festive burnout. So it's a weird phenomena in New Zealand, how we have this sprint to Christmas, right? So we have this, like, we are racing towards Christmas and that is what we're doing, and we have to get everything completed by the Christmas period, which is actually a bit crazy. In other countries, we don't necessarily have this. We have people coming into the festive season and they just have a few days off and then they go back to work. But in New Zealand, where we are at the bottom of the world here, we tend to want to race to Christmas. So I did a bit of Googling around this and I looked at some of the things that came up, and I'm going to talk through what some of the things are that can cause burnout, because sometimes recognizing what they are can help you to prevent them happening or manage them yourself. So the first is financial pressure. So it's the cost of gifts, travel, or other holiday related expenses. So you might be having to go somewhere. You might have made a decision to go somewhere with your family earlier in the year. You've made a commitment to it and you've got to find the money for that. And that feels like a pressure. That can be really stressful. Also gifts. So sometimes we have an expectation of ourselves or our family expectation that we are going to buy a lot of gifts for people. I know when my children were younger, we did definitely buy more gifts than we do now. Now we have more of a discussion about it and the children decide what we're going to do. Because my kids are grown up. So I'm really lucky that I don't have that. And my siblings are totally not gift oriented. They don't even like giving gifts. It's not their jam. So I have no pressure from them. So I'm really lucky. But I personally like giving gifts. I'm a generous by nature. So I find that the gift giving thing, it's just working it out, right? And also, again, like I said, travel or holiday related expenses, it's about planning and budgeting for them, not finding they've just come upon you. And then obviously there's the family expectations too. So you can have this situation where you've got all these expectations of your family. So, what do you do at Christmas? Where do you go? Do you get together? And is that actually something you want? Do you enjoy it? Do you find it stressful? And there can be some complex family dynamics. You grow up in this tight-knit family unit with your siblings where you feel like you're always together and you learn to get along. And sometimes when you grow up, you stay friends with your siblings and it's a really good relationship. Other times it can be more difficult and a bit trickier. And there's dynamics around how you've shown up and grown up into an adult. So how are you navigating that too? So complex family dynamics can be a bit of a difficult one as well. So, are you prepared to put relationship ahead of everything else? That's one of the things I discuss. I'm doing a lot of my training is what's important here. Is it the relationship with your siblings? Remembering you can't change anyone but yourself. And then sometimes you have traditions. So the traditions can be emotionally draining. So what are the traditions you have as a family? Are they things that you want to do? So for example, in my family, we've had a tradition for the last 20 years basically that we've taken our children and my extended family, and we've all had Christmas Day in Akaroa, which is where we have a holiday home, which has been really lovely. But my children have grown up. They all live in the North Island, which in New Zealand there's 2 islands, North and South, and they are sick of that. They want to do something different while they're young and still around, and I totally appreciate that because there'll be times where they have to go or they want to go to other parts of families that they may make and build. They may want to have Christmas with their friends or do something like that. I hope they don't. I hope they keep wanting to come back. But I'm realistic about the fact that the dynamics change and the traditions can change as well. Like I remember when I was a child, we had traditions where my grandparents, we did things around my grandparents while they were around, and was always very committed to having traditional family dinners because that's what they liked and enjoyed, and it was respect for their generations. So then once they passed, we did things for a very few small number of years. Wasn't many between them. Actually, they were alive when my children were around. So there was no, for me, the crossover between grandparents, respecting grandparents' needs and children, they were at the same time. So we did that. And then obviously our children came along and we started basing Christmas more around them. And now we've had this family tradition to do things. And we're doing something different this year because my children have requested it and that's what they want. So the financial pressure, the family expectations, a packed schedule. So it's a funny thing. We have this sort of ramp up to Christmas. We want to get everything done. We want to get it all done up and, before Christmas, we have parties, social events, other activities that can lead to exhaustion. And I personally love connecting with other people. I like celebrating the lovely year that we've had. But sometimes I find that my well-being can get a little affected by everything that's going on. So parties, social events and other activities can lead to exhaustion, and I totally and utterly understand that. So again, it's picking and choosing. So this year I have had one or two that I've turned down, and I do get FOMO because I'd like to go to them. But, how many have you got? And if you're at the start of your life journey, you might only have one or two and it's great fun. But we had 3 last weekend. This weekend we've only got 1, and the following weekend there's only 1, thank goodness. So the weekend after this, there's supposed to be another one for me, but it was something that I just didn't feel comfortable with. it just didn't fit with my schedule, and I've chosen to go and visit another friend who's recently lost his wife, and I think that's more important to go and do that. I would love to be doing the social event with my some of my colleagues from one of the places I work, but it just wasn't for me. There's a lot of drinking and it just didn't feel like my thing. So yeah, and also I have done other things with them. So I've weighed it up, and that's a better use of my time. So yeah, I think that can make you feel a bit exhausted over the whole Christmas, New Year period, that whole packed schedule. Comparison can also be a problem too. So, comparing yourself to others, own experience to others, like what's happening for the other people, what's happening to me, like they look like they're having fun, I look like I'm not, they look like they're doing this. Look, every single person in this world has stuff going on. Let's face it, social media can be problematic in that way. So often we share the highlight reel, literally, and it's not necessarily exactly what's going on. So comparing yourself to others, comparison is the killer of joy. And I was talking about this with my husband, like a few days ago. We went to a function and I just came back saying, oh my goodness. And we just talked about comparison not being healthy. Everyone's life journeys are different. Everyone gets to a different place, the way they do it. And, life can be challenging and hard, so wherever you're at, you really honestly need to be making sure that you don't compare yourself to others. You compare you to you. Where were you? Where are you? How has it been for you, and where are you going? I think those are the things to look at, right? So comparing you to you, and like, what can you do that's better if that works for you? Sometimes even comparing yourself to you might not be right if you're feeling a bit stressed out and like a bit burnt out. Then the last one's perfectionism. Like, I know I have a bit of this. I want my children and I going to be together for 5 days. Oh my goodness, I have not been with them all together for that length of time for years. And I am so excited. 5 days, they're going to grace us with their presence and we're all going to be together. And the pressure to make the holiday perfect can be significant. Now, it's not going to be perfect. We're dealing with a 24-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a 20-year-old who all have their own lives. 2 of them have partners, and there's a whole lot of stuff for them that's important now that wasn't important when they were younger. So it's just about making it perfect, and I don't have to do that. We just have to understand there might be a few disagreements. Things might not be as we expect, but we've just got to work with that. So perfectionism is not great either. So just be aware that all of these things, so just going again, financial pressure, family expectations, having a packed schedule, comparison and perfectionism can lead to you feeling a little bit burnt out. So how might you feel? Have you ever wondered how you can be a fashion stylist with access to premium digital styling products? Do you want to be trained by the best in the industry and access these products that reflect fashion styling in 2025? If you do, then Image Innovators is absolutely the choice for you. This is because they have a network of over 1,000 trained fashion stylists worldwide, and when you work with them, you're getting the best of the best. They have evidence-based professional training offered by highly skilled facilitators that help you reach your absolute potential. This is a great alignment with Style for Life, as I in my business have used and endorsed their products for over 10 years with so many happy clients. And I'm really excited to say I'm also offering training to fashion stylists in conjunction with Image Innovators. So if you're ready to start your fashion styling training journey, then use the code BRIGHTRED25 for 10% off all products. What might you experience with Christmas burnout? You might experience some physical signs of exhaustion, fatigue, difficulty sleeping. So the racing mind. Goodness me, my husband and I were talking about this a few days ago too. So how do you quell a racing mind? So there's all sorts of techniques that you can use to quell it, but that can lead to physical fatigue, exhaustion, difficulty sleeping. So just be aware that if you are feeling more tired than usual, it could just be this whole Christmas ramp up to Christmas. You could also be feeling emotional, so you could have some irritability, some mood swings. You might have a bit of a negative outlook or lose your general feeling of joy, because feeling joyful about Christmas is something that we want. We want to feel joyful. We want to feel excited. We want to feel that we're able to relax over this period of time where it is a bit busier and a bit more full on. And then there's the mental overload as well, feeling overwhelmed even by simple tasks. You can struggle with concentration or a sense of dread about the holidays as well. So those are some of the things that we might experience, coming up to the Christmas period, or just generally burnt out. So physical fatigue, emotional fatigue, and mental fatigue too. So that mental fatigue, again, might mean that you struggle to actually get simple things done, which would usually be easy for you. So how do we prevent this? How do we make sure that we are able to get through this period, feel really good about ourselves, and actually have a really good time and not feel burnt out? So let's talk about how to prevent it. So set realistic expectations and boundaries. Learn to say no to non-essential commitments. Prioritize self-care by scheduling rest and relaxation. Maintaining your sleep schedule if you can, staying active. Also delegating tasks, breaking down large projects, and using tools like to-do lists to stay organized and maintain perspective. So the first one is self-care. Now, I know doing accountability coaching that this can go flying out the window at this time. So, I've had clients who have coached through this period. They've had Christmas parties. They've had all sorts of things going on, and they are battling with their self-care, right? So they just say that family is more important, which I completely get that family is important. Sleep's important. Sleep is very important. So you need to schedule time for rest and activities. Don't be afraid to say no to commitments, but self-care also means looking after your activity. So I'm talking about being active as well. So we can get busy with parties, we can get busy with looking after our family, we can get busy with extra workload, and we can think, I just won't worry about the exercise. And it's easy to do that, but I tell you what, you will feel so much better if you maintain your activity. So the really important way to get this done over this period is to schedule it. So when you're working with me doing accountability coaching, we talk about how to schedule and do all of these things too. So really, really important to schedule activities that you for rest and activities you enjoy. And again, like I said about some commitments, if there's some that are just not feeling like you, or they feel like they're going to take a load of energy from you and you're not going to get energy back, then it's probably something to say no to. So again, that juggle. Yeah, just also on the self-care, I think be really intentional about how much you want to eat and drink too. Like, I'm not suggesting you're a killjoy and just go out and just don't do anything, because it's all self-care, self-care, self-care. But, is self-care going out for just 3 nights in a row and drinking a load of alcohol and then coming home at the end of that and feeling really uncomfortable, not feeling good about yourself? Is self-care going out to all of these events and overeating every time and then feeling really disgusting as well? So, or if you don't feel disgusting after either of those, that's completely fine. But I do hear from clients that these things cannot feel as good. So prioritize self-care. The next one is set realistic expectations. So it's okay if the holiday isn't perfect, right? It's not going to be, right? Let go of the need for everything to be flawless. I think I let go of this a long time ago. If I recall, my mother and my aunt wanted everything perfect at Christmas, and they used to get themselves into a stressed frenzy. I am not joking. Around Christmas, is the turkey cooked? Is it raw? Is it da 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 da? And I just used to be like, I never want to be like that. I never want that. Like, it's just not going to be perfect. If it's like, is the food that important? I mean, are you aesthetically trying to set up a table or Christmas decorations that look perfect? I mean, they can look amazing, but it doesn't have to be flawless. It just has to be, it has to bring you joy. And if it doesn't bring you joy, then just don't do it, right? But then again, there can be a little bit of effort needed to get a bit of joy. So I haven't set up my Christmas tree yet, and I'm hoping to do it this weekend with Yuka, our student who's from Japan, because she doesn't have a Christmas tree that she sets up at home, and we haven't got our stuff out of the attic yet. So when we do that, we can set it up and hopefully celebrate Christmas. And our youngest daughter will be home for a few months soon too, which will be great. And she will want the Christmas tree up. And Dave and I need to do this too. We have a few Christmas things coming and going out of the house, and it's really nice to have that feeling of Christmas, but it doesn't have to be perfect. We've had the same decorations for a really long time, had the same tree. It's not a priority for us time-wise or financially to change those things. Just to have the ones we've got is actually fantastic. So we just need to let go of the need for it to be flawless and set really, really realistic expectations. Like maybe it's just simple food. It's not a big flash sit-down dinner where everyone's coming along. Like, does everyone just bring a plate at some of these events? So I was talking about this with a friend of mine. She was saying actually just get everyone to bring something. It makes it so much easier. There's less pressure. Then they can show up and it all works nicely rather than you doing all of the cooking or preparation. So yeah, just think about that as well. Like people who are coming to you or having celebrations with you are going to want to contribute as well. So it's really important to do that too. So let go of the need for everything to be flawless. The next one is delegating tasks. Oh my goodness. So don't try and do everything for yourself. So if you find that you are starting to feel a little bit stressed out, a little bit burnt out, don't try and do everything yourself. Like ask other people to help you, get them to come on board, get them to be there, get them to do different things for you. Maybe they organise the Christmas dinner this year. Maybe we do it for a whole lot of, we do it so that we're all taking on different responsibilities. So I think sometimes we don't necessarily do this. We have thinking that we have to do it. It's all going to be about us. We're the ones that need to do this. And I think that's not very realistic. Okay. Again, delegate tasks, ask people to do things. If they don't want to do them, then they're probably not your friends and family you want to hang out with anyway. Yeah. Limit social media, right? Like social media, I post on social media for my work, for my business, and sometimes I feel exhausted by it, but I have to do it. I know it's a work thing, but just don't scroll through everyone else's highlight reels and avoid comparison traps because that can be really problematic as well. So yeah, limit the social media. I think that's just the key, and be realistic about what you can do. Take some breaks, right? Take some breaks, take some time for yourself just to disconnect, decompress. So even if it's just some very small quiet times, yeah? And also let's think about how you can use this Christmas and New Year period to recharge your tank, okay? So how can you recharge? What can you do that's going to set you up for the rest of the year ahead? Like I know with myself, I have to be really strict about scheduling the time off because if not, I just work. I love my work and I just get drawn to do it all the time. In fact, my siblings told me recently that I'm like my father. This is how he used to be too. So use this time to plan ahead, right? So think about what do you want for the new year? What do you want? How do you want to show up in 2026? Do you want to show up in the same way that you have in 2025? Do you want to change, increase, grow, move that? If you do, then there's going to be some planning required, right? So take that holiday period to really sit down and think about it and put those goals into different buckets, right? So maybe think about putting that into personal. So what do I want for my personal life going forward? What do I want to achieve for my physical body in my personal life? Am I happy with the way I am? Am I showing up the way I want to show up? Am I as healthy as I'd like to be? Like, and how do you define health? Are you fit? Is fitness a part of your health regime? Is eating healthily a part of your health regime? Is being free of illness and injury part of your health regime? So what is it that works for you to show up in that personal area? Do you feel like you need to manage stress better? Do you need to take on less? I'm talking to myself here. Do you need to take on less so that you can actually manage what you've got? Or do you need to take on more because you haven't actually been stretched and you're feeling a bit bored and like underutilized? So how does that work and show up for you? How does your personal what does your personal life look like? Then have a look at your relationships. How are your relationships? Do you want to have better relationships with people? Is there some way you can improve those relationships? Do you need to set different boundaries around those relationships? So all of these things are going to help you feel productive rather than burnt out over the Christmas period. So how do you want to show up? Are the people that you want to reconnect with? Are the people that you have connected with in the past that you actually, like it's the relationship's taking effort and it's probably not feeling like you anymore. So how do you want to do that? Like how do you want to show up for those people? Then the other area is in your professional life, if you are a working person. So how do you want to show up in your professional life? Like what is happening there for you? Do you want to change the job you're at? Think about your personal values. So are you value aligned in your work and in your personal life? Have you got your personal values working for you in your professional life? So for example, let me explain. So my personal values sit in these 4 buckets. Gratitude is really important to me. Being grateful for what I have, being grateful for where I'm at, and what's going on in my life. The second is contribution to others. I'm very clear that contribution is a huge value for me. I want to contribute. Here's this podcast. And all of the work I do is contributing and hopefully adding value to other people's lives. The third value for me is connection. Connection with other people is really, really important. So that's gratitude, contribution, connection. Then we have health, wellness, and vitality. Right? So that's super important to me. I want to be making sure that I am actually healthy, I'm well, I'm vital, I'm doing the best that I can do. And then family is also a really important value to me. So how do those things align with your professional life? Right? So do they actually align? Do you notice that your values, and if you don't know what your values are, Google values words. And you'll find that a whole list of values. And a way to assess what your values are is to go through and pick out maybe 10 or 12 or 15 words and write them down maybe on Post-it notes and put those Post-it notes maybe on your cupboard, on your door, and then pull off the ones that feel like you, and then you come down to the ones that you've got. So, and they do change. Your values will change as you go through your life. So mine have changed. Family was the very top of my values. It's still really important, but contributing to others now, and it's not just family, is really important because my family's grown up, my immediate family. And obviously contributing to my mother is important at the moment, contributing to my siblings so we can support my mother, and contributing to other people in my extended family and also in my life. So get your values and your professional life aligned. Now, what are your goals and your aspirations in your career for 2026? What do you want from that? Are you really happy with the way it is? Do you want to set some targets for yourself? So you maybe financial targets, if that doesn't rock your world, some personal, professional targets. Some other things that actually set you on your journey for 2026. I find this useful. It's not just useful as New Year's resolutions. These are actually structured ways of working through setting up your intentions for 2026. Now, they may change. So in our personal intentions, we would like to take another trip to watch our son. Hopefully Zach competes again for New Zealand. That's a hope that we hope will happen. He'll get selected in March, maybe next year, if all goes to plan, which is what we hope. And that means that we will hope to go overseas next August. We're going to hold out till then because it's been a big year of travel this year and a lot of planning that started this time last year. And I need a breather, from the travel, that kind of intense, full-on travel. I loved it and it was amazing, but I also want to be able to be more consolidated financially, be more consolidated personally, and be more consolidated professionally in this next 2 to 3 quarters of the year, and heading into the third quarter we'll take a breather, and then the fourth we'll be back on deck again. So, we're literally, both Dave and I are planning our lives like this so we can think ahead to what's happening in each of those sections of the year. So we were talking about burnout here, and the reason I talked about this is planning the year ahead helps you to get ahead of your burnout and help you actually learn to move forward. Actually, another thing that works really nicely, just as a little finisher, is look back and reflect on your highlights. What have I done that's been great? What can I learn from, right? Another thing that can help you in the holiday period is to really reach out to other people, because loneliness can be a problem in the holiday period, particularly if your life circumstances have changed. You may have got older and lost a partner. You may have had, you may have added children and you've got alienated from some of your friends. You may have had a shift in a relationship, which is split, and that can lead to, fragmentation of friendships and relationships. You may have had your children leave home, which I talked about a few weeks ago, and that can sometimes make people feel lonely too. So that is Christmas burnout. How do we prevent it? We make sure if we to be really be intentional about Christmas burnout and prevent it. We prioritise self-care, so look after ourselves, our physical, our mental, our emotional well-being, get some activity, eat properly, set realistic expectations for the holiday period so that you can make sure that don't need to be perfect. Delegate tasks to other people so you don't have to do everything. Limit social media, honestly, it's not helpful. Take breaks, build in time to disconnect and compress, even if it's just a short, quiet time, build those in. I love reading a book. That's what I like doing. Plan for the year ahead. Set up your goals in all of those 3 areas: personal, relationships and professional, see what your goals are there, and also think about reaching out to other people to prevent loneliness. So I hope that's been useful. I just wanted to talk about this because it's been something that's on my mind. I've got a couple of excellent podcasts. I've got a wee list here about a couple more things to talk about before Christmas. But if there's anything specifically you would like, please let me know. I've got a couple of interviews lined up too, which should be really exciting. And I just want to say thank you always for listening. I also want to thank Claire Maxfield from Image Innovators for sponsoring this podcast. It's great to have you on board as a sponsor. And I want to say to all of you, kia kaha, and look after yourself in the next week ahead. Please feel free to follow me on all socials. You know what they are, Bright Red NZ. And let's not get Christmas burnout. I'll speak to you next week. Thank you for listening to the Style for Life podcast. Don't forget, you deserve to feel fabulous at every age, every stage, and at every size. If you're loving the show, hit subscribe and leave a review. It helps more amazing people like you find their way back to life through style. Thanks again. Until next time.